In this video today, I will be sharing with you how you can apply for your US visas from Nigeria, whether it be a travel visa, a work visa, or even a student visa. All of the applications are done using the same DS-160 form, and in this video, I will be sharing with you step by step how you can achieve this. So with that said, let's head over to my laptop and get started. So guys, to get started, you want to go to the DS-160 form. The link will be in the description of this video. From the drop down here, to get started, right, you want to search for your country, and then you select Nigeria. Ensure that you select the one where the city is closest to you. So I'm going to go with Nigeria, Lagos. Here, you're going to enter the security code shown on the screen. Scroll down and select Start an Application. You're going to select I agree, and you're going to keep track of your application number. This is important in the event that you did not complete your application and you want to complete it later. It is also important whenever you are scheduling the appointment for your visa application. So once you do that, you want to scroll down and select your security question. I'm going to go with what's the given name of my mother, right? I'm going to say Mary, then select continue. On this page, you're going to complete your personal information, your surname, so your given name, and your full name in native alphabet, right? And for this, you can select does not apply, and you also specify your given names. So ensure this looks like what it is in your passport. Down, have you ever used any other names? Select what best applies to you. In my case, I'm going to say no. Do you have a telecode that represents your name? In my case, no. Select your sex, gender, right? Male. Select your marital status. Select what best applies to you. Here you're going to select your date of birth, your place of birth, and your state of birth. So once you complete your date of birth and place of birth, then you scroll down to the next section and select next to personal tool. So I add an arrow. Full name in native alphabet have not been completed. So here I'm going to select does not apply, right? So select next. From the drop down, select your nationality. I'm going to say Nigeria. Do you hold or hold any other nationality? No. Are you a permanent resident of another country? I'm going to say no. Here you're going to specify your ID number, right? I'm just going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now this is for demonstration purposes only. So here you're going to specify your social security number if you do have it, otherwise select does not apply. And the same thing for the US tax identification number. Then you will select next to travel. Now this is the important part where you select the visa that you are applying for, because remember earlier I said that all the visa applications are done using this form. So from the drop down, you're going to select the type of visa that you are applying for. So for example, for the visitor's visa, it is Temp Business Pleasure Visitor B, right? Now from that option, you have the option to specify whether business and tourism, business and conference, or tourism medical, right? So I'm going to select the first one, which is B1, B2. Have you made any specific travel plans yet, right? If you select yes, it's going to ask you for the information. If you select no, it's going to ask you when you intend to arrive in the United States, right? So I'm just going to put a random date here. For the intended length of stay, I'm going to select 4 weeks. Where do you plan to stay in the United States? If you do not have any relative in the United States, then you can specify the address of an hotel here. Now once you specify where you will be staying, then the next step is to select who will be paying for your trip. So I'm going to select self, and then select next to travel companion. Are there persons traveling with you? No. Select next. Have you ever been in the United States? Select what best applies to you. Have you ever been issued a US visa? Select best what applies to you. Have you ever been refused a US visa? Again, select best what applies to you. Has anyone ever filed an immigrant petition on your behalf? Again, select what best applies to you, and then select next address and phone number. Here, you're going to specify your home address within your country. For the zip code, you can specify 5 zeros or simply select does not apply. Is your mailing address the same as your home address? Select what best applies to you. Select your primary phone number. For the secondary phone number, I'm going to select does not apply. And the same thing for the work. Have you ever used any other phone number in the last 5 years? Select what best applies to you. And here you're going to select your email address. And here you're just going to specify your email address. Have you ever used any other email address in the last 5 years? Select what best applies to you. Do you use any social media platform? select what best applies to you. I'm just going to say Instagram, and then you're going to specify your identifier. Do you wish to provide any other information about your presence on the internet, right? And it's basically that's what it's asking. So I'm going to select no, and then select next to passport. So from the drop down, select your travel document type. I'm going to be selecting a regular passport. Here, specify your passport number. For the book number, you can select does not apply. And then here, you're going to specify where your travel document was issued. All this information will be in your passport. So select the date which your passport was issued, and then select the expiry date. Have you ever had a passport lost or stolen? I'm going to select no, and then select next to US contact. Now on this page, you're going to specify your contact person who is in the United States. However, if you do not have a contact person, feel free to use the name of an organization like an hotel. If you're applying for a work visa, then you'll simply specify your manager or your supervisor for that workplace, or you can just put the address of the workplace, right? So for organization, I'm going to say it does not know, and I'm just going to specify a contact person. So then you need to specify the relationship with that contact person, and then you're going to specify the address within the United States. Very straightforward, right? You're going to specify the street, the city, the state, the zip code, the phone number, and an email address. If you don't have an email address, you can select does not apply, and then select next to family, father's full name and date of birth. If you don't know, you select don't know. Now, is your father in the US? Simple, straightforward question. Select no. And here you're going to specify your mother's name as well. Then you're going to select their date of birth. And is your mother in the United States? Select what best applies to you as well. Do you have any immediate relatives in the United States, not including parents? So this would be like a fiance, a husband or a wife, a sibling, right? Things like that. So select what best applies to you, and then select next to training and education. Once you do that, select next to training and education. Here, you're going to select your primary occupation, right? So I'm just going to select agriculture, and then you're going to specify your work information. Note, I'm just filling out this with some random information. I'm just doing this so you can get an idea of the process of how to apply for your visa, right? So I'm just going to say January 2020 for the start date. Your monthly income, specify what best applies to you, right? And you can provide a brief description of your duties. Then select next to work and education. Were you previously employed? Select what best applies to you. Have you attended any educational institution at secondary level or above? Select what best applies to you. If you select yes, it's just going to simply ask you to provide that information, right? So I don't want to fill out this right now, so that's why I'm selecting no, but you get the idea, right? Then select next. Do you belong to a tribe or clan? Select what best applies to you. Select the language that you speak. Let's say English, and you can also add another language, right? So I'm just going to select no here. Have you ever traveled to any other country within the last 5 years? Select what best applies to you. Have you belonged to, contributed to, or worked for any professional, social, or charitable organization? Select what best applies to you. Do you have any specialized skills or training such as firearms, explosive, nuclear, whatever? Select what best applies to you. Have you ever served in the military? Select what best applies to you again. Or have you ever served in any parliamentary or things like that? Select what best applies to you, then select next to background and security. Now, this section is just going to ask you a bunch of security questions. If you have never had any run-ins with the law, right, or you're pretty much a law-abiding citizen, then most of your answers will be no. However, you can take the time and read through them individually and then select the appropriate answers, right? However, I'm just going to select no for all of them and then proceed to complete the application. So then I'm going to select no as well for these ones. So it's going to really ask you a bunch of security questions. So I'm going to select next again. So for these, I'm going to select no as well and then select next to photo. Now here is where you upload your photo. So select upload. Select choose file. I'll select upload selected photo. So this passport quality passed the standard. If it did not pass, then you'll get an error and then you'll have to re-upload it. There are tons of web applications out there that you can use to resize your passport size photo. So here we're going to select next. We're going to select review. So this is a summary of all the information you provided during the application. Now if you need to change anything, just select the option with editing it, right? Now select next to travel, and it will do this for all the sections. So I'm just going to hit next, So ensure you take your time to review these information and ensure everything is accurate, because you don't want to be making any silly mistakes that you could have just fixed while you're reviewing the application. Now the next step is to sign and submit. So read this information thoroughly, right? Enter the passport number and then enter the code shown on the screen and then select sign and submit. Oh, I missed a question. Did anyone assist you with filling out this application? No. Now let's hit submit again. So you have successfully signed and submitted your application. You cannot make any change to your application at this point. Please click next to confirm and complete. So I'm going to select confirm. So guys, this is your confirmation page. You'll need to take this to the interview with you. Now you can print this page and save it as a PDF and print it at a later date. If you have a printer, you will just select the printer option and then print it immediately. You can also email a copy of it to yourself by selecting the email confirmation, and it will email it to the address on file, or if you want to specify a different email address, then you select yes here and then specify that email address. However, I'm going to sit back to confirm. So the next step, guys, is to pay for your application and schedule your interview. I've done a step-by-step video on that using Jamaica. The steps are the same, so you can watch that video. The link will be in the description of this video or at the card. And guys, if you have made it this far in this video, I'd appreciate if you give me a subscribe. So that's it for now, guys. Thank you for watching. Wait, I saved you a couple of $100 maybe, so it would be the least for you to subscribe. So just kidding, guys. Take the time out, give me a sub. I would definitely appreciate it. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.